Spa-Francorchamps, and a great opportunity for our drivers in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe to do what very few have done, have two races on two consecutive days in warm, bright sunshine at Spa-Francorchamps. I know. I can barely believe it myself. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to race 2 of this weekend, supporting the World Endurance Championship here at the fabulous circuit in the Ardennes. One of the greatest drivers' circuits on the planet, and a huge challenge for all of our cars and drivers. Well, it's famed for the corner at Eau Rouge, which still presents, I haven't got my teeth in this early in the morning, need more coffee, still presents a great challenge for the drivers and for their courage. And if you think it's going to be entertaining enough in one of these Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo Evo 2s on your own, imagine if you're starting somewhere in the 20s or 30s on this 52-car grid, with 20 raging bulls in front of you and another 20 plus behind. Then imagine going through Eau Rouge on tyres that you may not have got up to their optimum operating temperature on the formation lap. It's going to be entertaining. Well, let's hear from our drivers. Dakota Jane is there.
A very, very sunny grid this morning. Oliver, I'm sitting down with you, and it's going to be a great race today. Yesterday, you came in 4th position. You had a great race from a misfortune of the guys in front of you. What does today hold?
No, I think today we have much better possibilities to do a good race. I think Largim is pumped to get the race started, and I think for us, we will always be faster in the end of the race. So that's where we look to do better.
Now, this is your first season of Super Trofeo. What's it been like being out on track? 52 cars, a huge amount of competition. How are you finding the season so far?
Yeah, it's actually my second year. But yeah, no, it's amazing. It's like all the noise and everything. And yeah, I don't know, the atmosphere with all the people here, it's quite cool and a great experience.
Now, we saw yesterday as well that pit stops were absolutely critical. The pit lane was very, very busy place to be. Any sort of strategy on pit stops?
Yeah, we have some few tricks we want to do for the race. I think yesterday we all saw how crowded it got, and it's important to just do the procedures right and correctly, and try to gain some positions there as well.
Good luck for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oliver Söderström with Largim Ali in that black car with the lime green highlights. There are points leaders. They were our points leaders coming in. And actually, Largim, you heard Oliver saying, we're always expecting to be faster at the second part of the race. Well, that's when he's driving. But Largim did a great job away from the safety car restart. The safety car came out just before the pit stop window opened. So it was a full field except for 6 cars went in. So 44 cars went into the pit lane together. There was a lot of contact in the pit lane. We didn't see so much of that on camera, but it was definitely absolutely rammed. But Largim Ali did a great job in the final elements of the race. You had 1 green flag lap after a second safety car towards the end of the 50-minute race, and he pulled them up to 4th place. And that could be a really critical race result when we come to the end of the season. But let's rejoin Dakota back on the grid.
We are on the front row of the grid with Jean-Baptiste. Jean, this is a great place to start. Great view ahead, all those cars behind you. Yesterday was not such a great race. Today's got to be better, hasn't it?
Yes, it's the best place to start. So no one in front. We'll try to have a good start. We have a look on Amaury. We know normally we're quite better on the degradation, on the stint. So we'll see during the race how it goes.
Amaury was very fast yesterday, so let's hope you get ahead of him in turn 1. Good luck.
I cannot hear you with the noise.
Don't worry, good luck.
Always a difficulty trying to interview a driver, because he's got his helmet and his balaclava on, his fireproof protection, but they always have earplugs in as well. Otherwise you end up with chronic tinnitus, which is, you know, when you're young, yeah, whatever, but a little bit further on in life, the constant ringing in the ears is not much fun. Ask Volker Weidler. Well, beautiful morning, bright and early here at Spa-Francorchamps. Already a huge crowd in here. And this place, they are talking about 90,000 ticket sales, which is a massive crowd. But this place is such a long circuit, and there's so much fence line that can be filled with fans, as well as the massive grandstands. This can probably take, I would think you could probably get 200,000 people in here, but even so, 90,000 is a massive, massive crowd, and so many of them here so early as well. Definitely helps when they're getting up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock or whatever to start their journey into the track, that they open the curtains and it's a beautiful morning. If it was hosing with rain, that makes it a little harder, doesn't it? But it isn't. It's smoke rising there from somebody's car. I have a little feeling we may have a problem. Let's see who that is. It's behind Charlie Martin, I think. Well, everybody's moving. Maybe it was the Oregon car just back there of Pietro Perellini. Not quite sure, but hopefully no major dramas for anybody. So, formation lap underway behind the Lamborghini Urus safety car. The gold car on pole position, Amaury Bonduel, yesterday's race winner. Oh, we do have somebody being pushed away from the grid. That's really bad news for Oliver Freimut. The young German driver had a shocking day yesterday. Really, really lacking in luck. And today does not seem to have got off to a better start. So, Amaury Bonduel from Jean-Baptiste Mella, row 2, Hampus Eriksson, who had a shocker yesterday, and the Pro-Am pole sitter Andrea Frazinetti, Egor Orudchev and Largim Ali, the points leader, ahead of Pavel Lefterov and Jesse Samaniata, who drove up to 3rd yesterday. And then our Am pole sitter on the driver's right, Stéphane Guerin for Schumacher CLRT. Charlie Martin starts on the Lamborghini Cup pole, and those are the 4 pole sitters. The Pro-Am pole is Andrea Frazinetti. Now, that car, the number 16 Vincenzo Sospiri run car, changed from the Pro class, where it raced last time out in Imola, to the Pro-Am class, where it qualified 6 rows ahead of its rivals, and 3rd fastest overall. So I suspect that they may be asked to go back into the Pro class. That means sort of that effectively this race weekend in terms of points, if they do move back to the Pro class, won't count. And if they don't, then obviously anything scored in Imola won't count. So where are they? I'll just, you watch the cars, I'll have a look at Pro-Am. Well, they didn't score in Imola in the Pro-Am class, so they scored in the Pro class, and they were racing in the Pro class and didn't actually score. So there's the 52 cars. The Leipert Motorsport car, Nathan Hearn starting it. He finished the race in it yesterday. The Aussie starts last on the grid. They didn't set a qualifying time in the first qualifying session, or indeed the second qualifying session, and so neither of the race grids had a time from that car, but the stewards allowed them into the race, and actually they had a pretty decent run through from the back of the field yesterday. Nathan Hearn faced with only 51 cars to overtake today. Yeah, that's more than 1 a minute. Of course, realistically, although he's a Pro-Am driver rather than a Lamborghini Cup or an Am, he's not going to get that far up the field, but I'm sure he will enjoy trying to make progress. And Amaury Bonduel, well, driving on his own, he lost the lead in the pit stops yesterday. The deal is, during the mandatory pit stops, there's a 20-minute window in the middle of the race. Each car must make a mandatory pit stop. If you're driving with a partner, then it's a 60-second stationary minimum. If you're driving solo, 63 seconds. So when they came in like this, behind the safety car, nose to tail, Amaury Bonduel lost the lead. And in fact, he dropped down to 3rd place, but in the racing that followed, before the second safety car, he managed to get himself back up to 2nd place, and then post-safety car managed to jump Benedetto Strignano in the Villorba course car, who was the race leader after the pit stops. And on the final lap, Amaury Bonduelle got the gold car back in front. So he took his second straight win. He won race 2 in Imola. He won race 1 here in Spa. And again, he leads them away from pole. And again, he will be hoping there is no safety car just before the pit window. Leading car pulls in. We are ready to go green in Spa-Francorchamps. Amaury Bonduelle paces the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe field out of the chicane here in Spa for the first time. 50 minutes of racing. Race 2 gets underway. He moves immediately way out to the racing line. It's a really good start. Confident stuff from him. Down the inside, Hampus Eriksson from row 2 of the grid. There's a few running out wide on cold tyres and underheated brakes. Somebody's in the gravel. And that's not a good start for the 70 Lippert Motorsport car of Sebastian Balthazar and his teammate Jakob Reigl. And facing the wrong way, 72, that's Stefano Petrucci with the car he shares with Diego Locanto. Couple taking to the runoff area on the inside at T4, as the officials have it, or Rédillon as we all know it. But it's Amaury Bonduelle who leads them up the Kemmel Straight for the first time, turns in nicely in front. He's nearly a second ahead of Hampus Eriksson. One of the Oregon cars going onto the grass now, that's Enzo Girazzi, and Leonardo Caglioni, I think, has started the car today. Everybody jockeying for position. All 50 cars got away. Are we going to have a safety car? I wonder whether we might. Benoit Semulin and Oliver Freimut did not get away from the grid, and that, I think, was Holger Harmsen, yesterday's Lamborghini Cup winner. It is Holger Harmsen. So the GT3 Poland run car going no further. Safety car out. Lap 1. The tiniest bit of contact, but that car clearly not able to move under its own steam, and so the field will come round. The flatbed is there already. I'll tell you what, this is what happens when you come to a circuit that's got nearly a century of experience. Debris gets swept away in a hurry, and Holger Harmsen, I think, still in the car, is probably going to find himself craned up onto the flatbed along with his vehicle. Well, there you go. There was a great start by Amaury Bonduelle, slightly kiboshed by the safety car being called out after that first turn incident. Wasn't a lot going on in the first corner. Somebody did run across the grass. We saw Stefano Petrucci having trouble. There was problems as well for Charlie Martin. Now, look further back on the right-hand side. Row 11 on the right of your picture, there's a purple car you can sort of see in the middle. And Charlie Martin right at the tail of the field, trying to see what happened. There's the purple car right in the middle at the apex. Did she run out wide onto the dirt? No. So something happened further on as well. And there, while I was watching that, there was Holger Martin, got centre punched by the 72 DL Racing car of Stefano Petrucci. There's the gravel trap on the exit of La Source. Cars getting machine gunned with gravel. Oh, look at that full rally cross from Reigl, and that's Petrucci. No, it's not. That's the other car. And there, unfortunately, is yesterday's Lamborghini Cup winner, Holger Harmsen. Lot of damage on the right front, and the critical part is less the bodywork, although that would tear itself apart. Look at the floods of water coming out of the cooling system there, and that, unfortunately, spells the end of the race. Well, he's out of the car, so they're not going to lift him onto the truck with his car. He'll get a chance to jog across where the men in the orange are at the far side, the marshals there. He can jog across the track to there once the safety car queue's gone by. They'll want to do a little bit about that. That's not paint, that is the coolant. Now, your car runs on water with a bit of antifreeze. Racing machines use specific non-water-based coolants, which raises the boiling temperature, which allows you to run the car hotter without water boiling. And unfortunately, when it gets spread on tarmac, it takes on the consistency of ice. It is absolutely appalling stuff to try and get a tyre to grip through. So there you go, there's the coolant all over the place. As you can see, it's got a colour rather than clear water, and that is definitely not to be driven over if you can avoid it. Of course, everybody will be going wide over the curb, so they're going to find it's very, very slippery there. So 3 cars out of the running: Holger Harmsen, Oliver Freymouts, and Benoit Semula. Benoit Semula and Oliver Freymouts didn't start. I don't think have left the pit lane at all. Didn't leave the grid. And Holger Harmsen, well, he's going to be craned away. Stefano Pizzucci dropped to the back of the field after that contact, and Charlie Martin, whatever happened to her, the Brutal Fish car, number 8 that was on pole position, beg your pardon, number 54 that was on pole position, now running last. Well, Stefano Pizzucci is behind her, but even so, a long way back. At the front of the field, Amaury Bonduel with the gold on his car. And I think we will have to have another lap of safety car, we will. So Holger Harmsen there jumping into the lorry. Now, of course, if he ran across the track to the top of the paddock there at La Source, still about 2 kilometers down from where the car's going to end up with the team down in the support paddock. So he's going with the cars. That probably makes more sense. See, he's cleverer than me, even when it comes to how you get back home. Amaury Bonduel, Hampus Eriksson. Well, after a very disappointing race yesterday in the white, black and red Bauhaus car, Hampus Eriksson, the Swede, looking like he might have a better day today. Igor Orodchev, now he made a really good start, Igor, in the chrome blue car, from 5th on the grid up to 3rd. And then Jean-Baptiste Mela, we heard from him with Dakota Jane on the grid. And Jean-Baptiste, unfortunately, from 2nd on the grid, didn't make quite as clean a start as he'd hoped. He's down in 4th. Largim Ali, the black car with the lime green highlights, just going under the bridge. The points leaders in 5th place, really strong start. Then the first, the Iron Lynx cars, the bright yellow car of Jesse Samanyauto. Finn yesterday finishing 3rd, had a lunge for 2nd on the bus stop on the very last lap, didn't quite get there. Then the white car, the Vincenzo Sospiri racing car of Andrea Frasinetti, the first of the white cars in the field when you see them. That is our Pro-Am class leader. There he is, with Pavel Lefterov right behind him in the Iron Lynx car. The AM class leader, black and gold, car number 13, down in 16th place, Stefan Guerin. And actually, he qualified in 15th, so pretty much kept his head above water. Wait for him to come through. The Schumacher Comledegar Racing Team cars, black and gold. Quite hard to differentiate between them, actually. There's a couple of little colour tells. But you have to go on where they are in the field and then refer to the timing screen predominantly, because trying to spot the numbers as they whistle by. You can see him further back, black car with gold stripes across its haunches. Do cars have haunches? I suppose so. Lights still on the safety car. Safety car coming in this lap has just been confirmed by race control, and that means that the flatbed will be out of the way at Eau Rouge. I've turned right and back into the paddock on its way to the Lamborghini area, and so the lights will go out at the end of timing sector 2, and then the safety car will start to beetle off, and it's up to the race leader Amaury Bonduel to try and maintain the pace of the field. He stays with the safety car until the lights go out, and then he's not supposed to drop below about 80 kilometers an hour. Everybody weaving. In theory, getting on and off the brakes, accelerating and braking brutally, gets more heat into the brakes, more heat into the wheels, and tries to keep the heat in the tyres. The problem is, when there's 40-plus cars behind you, is that the chances of a chain reaction are enormous. So weaving tends to be really just trying to put some load into the tyre, keep the heat in the sidewalls and in the carcass. Tends to be what people do. Lights go off on the safety car. So now Amaury Bonduel will be focusing on how he is going to handle this restart. Hampus Eriksson behind him, red, white and black. 3rd is the blue car of Igor Orodchev, the outright LMP1 lap record holder on this track. Astonishing to think of all the drivers who have raced here in LMP1. There's Egor Oranchev in an SMP who has the outright lap record. Boy, that must have been a cling on for dear life effort. And Jean-Baptiste Mela, fourth in the black car. Black and green highlights. Largim Ali, the pro-class points leader. And Jesse Salmoniauto, the first of the yellow Iron Lynx cars. And Amaury Bonduelle breaks for the border and then checks up. Ooh, I think the stewards might have something to say about that. He accelerated into the bus stop and then slowed immediately. A little bit of brinksmanship there, but Hampus Eriksson was equal to it. There's a blow-up behind, and is that Jean-Baptiste Mela? Somebody is trailing a lot of smoke. That is not looking good. Is that tyre rub, or is that a V10 about to become a V5? Not looking at all healthy. You could smell it if you're on the pit wall. Ooh, I don't think that engine's going to last. Amaury Bonduelle leads, pulling away again very quickly from Hampus Eriksson. And again, they're all weaving up the Kemmel Straight, trying to get some heat in the tyres. The blue car, Egor Oranchev in third, Jean-Baptiste Mela in fourth, then Largim Ali in fifth with the green highlights. Where's the smoky car gone? Drop right back, potentially. 3 wide under braking, don't touch. Skating out wide is 32, that's Paolo Bilieri, our Lamborghini Cup leader. Easy for me to say. The Oregon car right behind him is Pietro Perolini. Oh, and a big lockup behind him from Sebastian Baltazar in the blue and red Lippert Motorsport car. He just made it round Brussels, but I think he's lost a couple of places. It's all arms and elbows, isn't it? Again, effectively, another first racing lap. Tyres are cold, brakes are cold and grabby. And that makes life very tricky with the green highlights. Quentin Antonel, white car with the green and yellow. He's looking down the inside of the Oregon car of Pietro Perolini as our race leader, Amaury Bonduelle, sector 2 of the lap, 1.1 ahead of Hampus Eriksson already. And that second Iron Lynx car of Pavel Lefterov trailing left front bodywork. Well, that's not a good thing. These cars are going to be topping 260 kilometers an hour, 270 plus top speed of these cars, and the wind is going to rip that body apart. Up the inside, the unique car, there's a place change. Jerzy Spinkovitz gets ahead of Leonardo Caglioni in the Oregon team car, and a challenge for second. Egor Oranchev trying to go around the outside of Hampus Eriksson. The Swede has the inside line. And Oranchev now coming under pressure from the black car behind, and Jean-Baptiste Mela didn't get a run on him. Could not get alongside Oranchev. So this is second, third and fourth, and Amaury Bonduelle rubbing his hands with glee. Don't forget, ooh, boys, you're supposed to go around the outside of the white line, not all 4 wheels inside it. And trouble for car number 8, that's Luciano and Donovan Privitello's car, and I think Donovan started the race. He's lost the engine. Pavel Lefterov in trouble as well in one of the Iron Lynx cars. Now he's gone into the pit lane. That was the car, of course, that was trailing the bodywork. As you watch the screen, I'm looking to my right out of the window, and he is in the pits with the team. Not sure what they can do at short notice. So Pavel Lefterov effectively out of action. Laszlo Todt in the Oregon team in the pits as well. These are not scheduled pit stops. This is for damage. And there's Charlie Martin in the purple car coming back up the order. That is going by Serge Doms in the DS Racing car. Next ahead of her, next target will be Alessio Ruffini. So Charlie Martin didn't see quite how that car got shuffled right to the back of the field, and that's a real shame. She qualified the car on pole in the Lamborghini Cup class. Paolo Bilieri now leads. Second in Lamborghini Cup, Karim Oj, who had another shocker yesterday. He got tagged out of the race. And in third place is Shota Apsava, who actually had quite an adventurous race. Brought himself to the attention of the stewards for just about everything that's conceivably possible. Yeah, it was not the best of days, having a better day today. Race day Saturday for the World Endurance Championship, not Sunday. You're not mistaking yourself. And Charlie Martin still piling on the pressure. Alessio Ruffini right in front with the green, white and red. Car number 33, 7th in Pro-Am. This is the battle for 41st place overall. 47 cars still out on track. Amaury Bourduel is first of them, and 2.5 seconds now ahead of Hampus Eriksson. 35 minutes of the race remain. In another 5 minutes, the pit window will be open. And it will be open for 20 minutes for mandatory stops. And everybody will now be hoping, Amaury Bourduel especially, that there is no safety car in the next 5 minutes so that he can build a lead. Let's get down to the pit lane with Dakota Jane and see what's happening.
Alberto, now you're in 12th place. You're watching on ahead of Benny. It's obviously quite intense down here in the pit lane. What does it feel like just knowing there's almost nothing you can do really until you jump in what, 10 minutes, 5 minutes?
Yeah, in 5 minutes more or less. I hope there will be no safety car in the pit lane like yesterday. But anyway, Benny did a good start. Now it's pit 12, avoid all the chaos in the beginning. Now as soon as the pit window will open, I will go in and I will try to make the best recovery possible.
Yesterday you came in second, so you had a great result yesterday. Is today going to be the same?
We will try to push as hard as possible. Maybe I open a safety car in my stint, and then I will try to make, also avoid all the chaos, because it's not easy with all of these cars. But maybe a P3, we will see if we can do it.
And as a very experienced Lamborghini driver, this season has very high competition. What are you feeling like being back in the car this season?
I'm very proud. First of all, I want to thank Rexha with Urban Racing for this opportunity. I always say yes, it is very challenging, the Super Trofeo, and this year 53 cars. I think it's the record for Lamborghini. A lot of young and talent drivers. So yes, I have experience, but I have to push 2-3 times more to be really at the top.
In bocca al lupo, we'll let you get ready. Thank you.
All right, well, he was hoping there would be no safety car. I feel there will, unfortunately for our race leader, be a safety car, because sitting at the side of the track with one wheel off his wagon is Alessio Ruffini. Milos Pavlovic, his co-driver, not going to get a run in the car, and that's a shame. But there's obviously been contact for that 33 car, and it is at the side of the track down at Eau Rouge. 5-second penalty added to the end of the race for car number 40, and that is Roger Bailly in the Artline car. And Roger Bailly was our AM class winner in the rain in race 1. Safety car is out. 2 minutes 30 seconds until the pit window opens. You couldn't write it. You could write this. We all knew it was going to come, didn't we? We all knew it was going to happen. And Amaury Bourduel, he's built a 4.3 second lead. Why is that important when it comes up to the pit stops? Because he has to spend 3 minutes longer stationary. And that's contact from behind. Charlie Martin in the purple car up behind Alessio Ruffino. Now, did she run into the back of his car, turn him into the wall, and is that what broke the suspension? Or did the suspension break, dramatically slowing the car, and she ran into the back of him? That is going to be one for the stewards to decide. I'm not touching that one with a barge pole. But the long and the short of it is, unfortunately, safety car is out for the recovery of Alessio Ruffini. And that means, again, the pit window will open behind the safety car. And that means, again, that Amaury Bourduel has lost his advantage. He had enough over Hampus Eriksson for them both to stop, and for Amaury Bourduel, all other things being equal, not to lose the lead. However, that 4.6 seconds will be down now to half a second. And as in race 1, he will have work to do should they stop under safety car. Now, the car that they're rescuing is right at Eau Rouge. The flatbed is there already. And I would suggest that one more lap of safety car and we will be good to go green. And that means that with a 10-minute pit window, Amaury Bourduel might not have to stop with 0 advantage. He might have 1 green flag lap. The team are going to have to be very, very sure of their timings on this. He might even get 2 green flag laps before he has to pit, and that might be enough, as we saw at the restart in the first race, for him to just about get enough clearance from Hampus Eriksson to not lose the lead in the pit lane. But it depends on the timing of when the safety car is removed from the race. So Amory Bonduel has not yet caught the safety car. Safety car driver yesterday was saying he led the field around and then the pit window opened and suddenly he's going, hello, where is everybody? He literally was on his own on track for about half a lap until the 6 cars that chose not to stop immediately caught him up. But here again, pretty much a whole field pit stop. That was, I think the DL Racing car of Ibrahim Badawi did not come in. And everybody else coming to a halt. There's the chrome blue car of Egor Orodchev. This is just, look how tight it is, and look at the team members trying to jump out of the way. And this, you know, safety car before the pit stops is what nobody wants. Red flag. Okay, so the race director has called a halt to proceedings, and that is going to make life very much less difficult in the pit lane, except what do you do now? You're trying to get the cars in and out. Tyre pressure adjustments being made, as you can see there in the back of car number 75. Cars are double stacked, some in the pit lane, some in the working or the blend lane, some in the working lane, some in the blending lane. But yeah, race director has put out the red flag. Now, not quite sure what the rule book suggests, whether they will restart behind the safety car in the formation or in the order that they were before the pit stops, but with their changed drivers, or in the order at which they are now gathering at pit exit. The problem is, at pit exit, there's already a line forming in the fast lane, the lane that you use for traveling through the pits, but before you get to the end of that line, there are cars. Okay, so here we go. Look, on your right-hand side, there's the cars that have changed waiting to go out. What do the cars on the left of that picture do? Because they can't get into the queue now. So they're going to lose 10 or 20 or 30 places. Again, there are days when I'm glad I'm not a cameraman. Days when it's sunny, days when it's not sunny, days when it's raining, days when there's an electrical storm, days when it's really cold, days when it's really hot, in fact, basically any day. And there are days when I'm really glad I'm not in the steward's room or a race director. And this is right up there with those days, and I'm not quite sure what on earth they're going to do. Well, there is, of course, another issue, is that in the fast lane, maybe cars that have not yet got to where their crew are for their pit stop, because they're now in a queue of traffic and can't get there. So, yeah. Red flag, engines off, everybody, for a start, and then wherever your car is, if you need to change drivers, I think you're just going to have to change drivers. This is this is the sort of issue for which rules are not generally written. Should there be a red flag when all the cars are coming into the pit lane? Not if there's a red flag, all cars will return to the pit lane. What happens if we have just tripped over that edge and everybody is cascading in and the race director has to throw a red? Well, I think that's paragraph B, subsection 12 of Appendix C, and that might have to be written at the end of the race as a result. I mean, again, you write regulations and then you adapt regulations or you add to them when certain scenarios that could not be envisaged in the real world actually transpire. And that's one of the things, of course, that's so delightful about all human endeavor, is that the human animal will trip you up at every opportunity. It's not just your own kids, I guarantee. It happens in other spheres of life as well. And if you're the sporting director of a major international race series, or you're the race director of a major international race series, then yeah, they conspire even more to trip you up. The flags of Wallonia and Belgium and the ACO fluttering above the grandstands here in Spa-Francorchamps. Huge crowd in here already, and we are hours away, 4 hours away, 3 hours away from the start of the World Endurance Championship. Hampus Eriksson, you saw there, just not even in the fast lane, just sitting with the team at VSR, just kind of, okay, where are we going now? Well, cars are being released from the pit lane. The safety car is on the start-finish line, as you can see under the bridge there. But how do you sort a problem called Maria? I mean, this is going to need the wisdom of Solomon to sort this out. And again, I'm not even going to second guess what on earth they're going to do. Hampus Eriksson came in second, and is going to go out in a queue somewhere in the 30th. Igor Orudchev, 11th in the queue. Charlie Martin, who was last but won, has come out in 9th place in the queue. There's the purple car of Charlie Martin. Deal Racing's Ibrahim Badawi is our race leader, ahead of Karim Oj, the Lamborghini Cup leader. Now, Karim was down in the 30s. So, I don't know. Luckily, that's not what I'm paid for. I'm just paid to try and make sense of it. And yeah, a bunch of cars have not left the pit lane yet. It's relatively quiet downstairs, so most cars have either left or aren't going to leave, but there's our marshals. And hats off and thank you. Well, not hats off in this weather, keep your hats on, but hats off from us and thank you to the marshals, all of whom are unpaid volunteers, not just here at Spa, but at every racetrack, and without whom we would never have any racing. So thanks very much to the men and women in orange or white or whatever colour they happen to be wearing. Now then, pit lane stewards are heading out to the grid. We are going to shuffle the deck. So, I don't know how they're going to decide the starting. I would think that the only sensible way is to restart them, the order at the end of the previous lap to the red flag, which means that any pit lane penalties for being a solo driver effectively don't apply. Now, there's a conflab. These poor half-dozen brave souls are going to have to try and corral 48 cars that are not in the correct position into the correct position. And they're going to arrive in all sorts of mistakes. So what they should probably actually do is have somebody stopping them before the bus stop and then say, right, car number 13, wherever you are, come to me. But there's going to be a lot of pushing and shoving, isn't there? There's going to be a lot of pushing and shoving. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's yeah, here we go. You go that side, yeah. And of course the other problem is that none of the drivers leaving the pit lane know what the deal is, so they're all in single file, not 2 by 2, and not on the right side of the 2 by 2 grid anyway. So the first job, Marshal's got car number 93, and that is Karim Oj. Right, you're going to go back down to row 14. There's a lot of pushing, so that's 3 of the marshals already. Just moving 1 car, and we might have to do this 40 8. Okay, they won't all have to come backwards. Some of them will move forwards from where they are in the queue, but blimey O'Reilly. Well, where is... There are key questions here that I'm not really asking. Where is the man who was leading, Amaury Bonduelle? Now, the gold car was 8th in the queue. 31. Yeah, oh, I'm on camera. I know. We are absolutely not in any way, shape or form trying to embarrass anybody who's down there on the grid doing a stellar job in very trying conditions. Saw cardboard Nick de Vries there in the grandstand being waved up and down. Be a lot of support for a lot of local drivers here. And for this crowd, local means English, French, German, Dutch, Belgian, Swiss, Italian, and pretty much anything else. So many different nationalities. There's our race leader. I think that the only sensible way of skinning this cat is, I mean, normally if you finish a race under red flag, the result is the end of the previous completed lap, before the lap on which the red flag was thrown. The red flag was thrown during the pit stops. So the end of the previous lap, Amaury Bonduelle was the race leader before we came into the pit lane. So I think it should be Amaury Bonduelle who was second. It was there's cardboard Nick. That's a bit elderly. Come on, you need to get him in his current livery. Yeah, he's a little bit taller. A little bit taller than the actual Nick. In fact, the cardboard cutout's about the same height as the Nick de Vries, and that's a head and shoulders cardboard cutout. So now the teams are coming back onto the grid. The orange armband, by the way, is the guy who stays with the car after the 5-second board when they're getting ready to leave. So there you go. Hampus Eriksson on the outside of the front row. Yes. That's the sensible way, isn't it? Charlie Martin, you can see right down the centre of the line there, the purple car. Very easy to spot the purple car of Charlie Martin. Probably going to end up going a long way back from the position that she was in when she left the pit lane. So we are sorting out our grid. Well done, everybody. Well done. Michel Vaillant livery there being worn. That's the red, white and blue V. For those who aren't francophones, first use of the word francophone this morning, and who didn't read Michel Vaillant, I'm sure most nations know Asterix. Most nations, session will not restart with 18 minutes to go. 18 minutes on the clock, and we are being told that the race will not restart. All right, our track announcer, unfortunately, is speaking Flemish, and I can't understand Flemish. That bit I can understand. That's the same as what it says. So, all of this, unfortunately, this is going to be the order in which the cars motor back down the hill and turn right at Eau Rouge and head into the paddock. Oh, and all that hard work. Look, they've all got a little printout all written down. Team managers meeting in 10 minutes. I think a result is going to be declared. Now, whether it's half points or full points, again, not having the rule book, I don't know. But I am suggesting that as of now, the order before the red flag, Amaury Bonduelle, the winner, and in second place, Hampus Eriksson, both of whom are driving solo. And who was third? I forget now, it's so long and so much drama ago, but I forget who was third. But Amaury Bonduelle there, gold. Hampus Eriksson, Igor Orodchev. There you go, Graham New. Igor Orodchev, so that's your top three. Who was leading in Pro-Am? Smarty Pants. Oh, don't just shrug. Okay, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm less than an oracle of information, because the timing screen has not reverted to the last completed lap, which is what the result will be. The timing screen is as the cars have crossed the beacons, because that's what timing screens do. The timing screens are as logical as Mr. Spock, but without his remarkable memory abilities. So I don't know who, I'm afraid, won Lamborghini Cup. And I don't know who won Am, and I don't know who won Pro-Am. But I do know that Amaury Bonduelle, as far as I can make out, has won his 3rd consecutive race of the series. And that, where was Largim Ali? He was in the top half dozen, but I think that is going to change the overall points lead, because Amaury Bonduelle came in here 4 points behind Oliver Söderström and Largim Ali, and he beat them to the line yesterday, so he will have taken the points lead overnight and will head now to the double race weekend at Le Mans with the points lead. Amaury Bonduelle is on a very strong run of form. And that is the next time these drivers will have the opportunity to stretch the legs of their steeds. Is a Raging Bull a steed? No, probably not. The last time they get a chance to thrash these fighting bulls to within an inch of their lives will be around the Circuit de la Sarthe in mid-June. So they will be part of the support package for the 95th Le Mans 24 Hours, which will be in June. Last year was the centenary of the world's greatest endurance motor race, 100 years since the first running of the Le Mans 24 Hours back in 1923. Imagine what a different place the planet was then. Probably saw Aurora Borealis overhead every night in May. But yeah, next week will be, or next race will be at Le Mans. 2 races as at each race weekend of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe 2024, and both of them will be on the full Le Mans circuit. I tell you what, if they were excited about coming to Spa and a bit disappointed they only got half a race this morning, how much more excited are all of these drivers going to be about racing these cars at Le Mans? What a thing. And actually, at Le Mans, the 52-53 car entry, there'll be plenty of space, obviously not in the first couple of corners because they'll all be going for the same square inch of tarmac, but there will be plenty of space to really stretch these cars. And if the drivers thought they found out a bit about what fast motoring feels like here in Spa and maybe at Imola, oh boy, rushing down to Indianapolis for the first time at full speed with all your courage in both hands, that's going to be something very special indeed. Down the Mulsanne Straight and these, you know, so many evocative corners. Everybody coming to Spa, of course, you think about this view. You think about Eau Rouge, Rédillon, and you think about the Camel Straight, and you think about Les Combes, and you think about Pouhon, and you think about all of the long, fast running here. But Le Mans brings all of that back into perspective by producing much longer, much faster, much more of everything, and even more history. Well, that is it then for Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe 2024 here at Spa-Francorchamps. Yesterday's winner, Amaury Bonduelle, wins again today. There are different class winners in Pro-Am, in Am, and in Lamborghini Cup. But the same man comes out on top overall. So until we meet again in Le Mans, congratulations to those who've walked away with the trophies and the points. It could all change in France in June. We'll find out, as will you, when we get to Le Mans, who comes out on top. Amaury Bonduelle takes the Pro Class points lead to France, though, after a very successful weekend here in Belgium. Until we meet again, from me, Martin Haven, from everybody involved with the production, thanks for joining us. Thank you for watching. We will see you at Le Mans. Drivers will have their chance for podiums. And if you go to the Lamborghini Super Trofeo YouTube channel and catch up with the social media, you'll be able to hear from our race winners and our podium finishers. Dakota Jane will have plenty for them to talk about, I'm sure. But meanwhile, we're getting ready for the rest of what hopefully will be an absolutely stunning day here at Spa. Just look at this place. We're not looking down through clouds or rain or snow or any of the above. For the third straight day of this race meeting, we are looking down in beautiful sunshine. There's the rallycross track on the right-hand side. This big amphitheatre built for the World Rallycross Championship when they came here, using the evocative run up through Eau Rouge as well. And the big 24-hour pit lane that runs all the way down the straight to Eau Rouge, the Formula One pit lane above it. There you go, there's a view of that where all of our World Endurance cars are garaged. But until we meet again at Le Mans, from the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe here in Spa-Francorchamps, it's goodbye for now.